Welcome back to Outside Views Military, and today we're documenting a historic moment for the German infantry. The arrival of the G95, the new standard assault rifle that is officially replacing the legendary but controversial G36. For nearly 3 decades, the G36 was the face of the Bundeswehr, serving from the forests of Germany to the dust of Afghanistan. But as of December 4th in 2025, a new era has begun. And I remember when we got the G36. I was there still working with the G3 when the G36 was introduced. The first units to receive this high-end weapon system were the soldiers of Panzergrenadier Bataillon 122 in Grafenwöhr, marking the start of a massive rollout that will continue until 2031. And the G95 is not just a single rifle, but a comprehensive system designed to meet the extreme demands of modern near-peer conflict and national defense. Manufactured by Heckler & Koch, the G95 is a customized version of the world-renowned HK416A8, which means it brings the battle-proven AR-15 ergonomics to the German front line. By moving to this design, the Bundeswehr is aligning itself with many other NATO partners, including France and Norway, which simplifies international training and logistics. The rifle comes in 2 primary configurations for the regular troops: the long-barreled G95A1 and the more compact G95KA1. The G95A1 features a 16.5-inch barrel, or 419 millimeters, which provides the bullet with more velocity and slightly better performance at distance. However, the majority of the troops will be equipped with the G95KA1, which uses a 14-inch barrel of 355 millimeters. The shorter version is much more practical for soldiers operating out of armored vehicles like the Puma or the Marder, as well as for those engaged in close-quarters urban combat. A third version, the even shorter G95K, has already been in service with the Special Forces Command, the KSK, since 2019, providing a solid foundation of field data for this wider rollout. And one of the most immediate changes you will notice is the color. The traditional black finish of the G36 has been replaced by a green-brown tone known as RAL 8000. And this change wasn't made for aesthetics, but for survival, as black surfaces have a significantly higher infrared signature, making soldiers easier to spot with modern night vision gear. Under the hood, the G95 operates as an indirect gas pressure loader with a rotating bolt, a system that shares some DNA with the G36, but improves it in some key ways. And when a round is fired, hot gases are tapped off the barrel and used to drive a short stroke piston, which then cycles the bolt. And the beauty of the system is that the hot carbon and debris are kept out of the main action, meaning the weapon stays cleaner and more reliable during long firefights. Oh yeah, and I remember the time I needed for cleaning sessions in the old days, the good old days. The theoretical rate of fire is a staggering 850 rounds per minute, though in practice precision and controlled fire are what win the engagement. And when I was in Hammelburg, I still remember all the discussions about being economical with your munitions. Unlike its predecessor, which relied heavily on polymers, the G95 is constructed primarily of high-strength metal. This adds a bit of weight. A fully equipped G95A1 can weigh nearly 6 kilograms, but the trade-off is incredible stability and heat resistance. The metal frame ensures that the barrel and the optics stay perfectly aligned even after the weapon has become hot from sustained rapid fire. This addressed the primary criticism of the old G36, providing the soldier with a tool that remains accurate under the most punishing thermal stress. The ergonomics have also been modernized, featuring a centrally located charging handle at the rear of the upper receiver and a telescoping shoulder stock. Because the buffer spring is located inside the stock assembly, the stock cannot be folded to the side like on the G36, but it can be adjusted in length to fit the soldier's body armor and arm length, and you can do that perfectly. The weapon is also fully ambidextrous, meaning every control from the safety selector to the magazine release can be operated easily by both right-handed and left-handed shooters. The system assault rifle also includes a massive upgrade in optics, moving away from the fixed dual sights of the original G36. The primary optic is the Elkin Spectre DR124X, a rugged scope that allows the shooter to flip a lever and instantly switch between 1x and 4x magnification. And this allows a soldier to transition from room clearing to engaging targets at 400 meters in a heartbeat. The Elkin is supplemented by a red dot reflex sight for even faster target acquisition in close-range situations. And in case the primary electronics fail, the G95 features backup iron sights that are mounted at a 45-degree angle, allowing the shooter to simply cant the rifle to stay in the fight. Every rifle will also be equipped with a laser light module from Rheinmetall, providing illumination and aiming dots for both daylight and night operations using infrared. To ensure the G95 was ready for the troops, the Bundeswehr put 390 prototypes through a grueling testing process led by the Technical Center 91 in Meppen. The rifles were frozen, soaked in salt water, buried in mud, and fired until they were glowing hot in a series of life cycle tests. Soldiers then took the weapons to the humid jungles of Panama and the freezing mountains of Alaska to prove they could function in any environment on Earth. Only after these tests were passed and small adjustments like the position of the sling swivel were made, did the mass production begin. This project represents an investment of roughly 772 million euros for the first 118,718 rifles and their associated accessory kits. And the goal of this massive expenditure is simple: to provide the German soldier with the hardware needed to win the firefight. And as Lieutenant General Heiko Hübner stated during the handover ceremony, the personal weapon is not just equipment, it's the core tool of the fighter's responsibility. However, this new high-end device comes with a catch. It requires more maintenance than the plastic G36. The metal components and the tighter tolerances of the AR-15 design mean that the G95 needs more frequent cleaning and a bit more oil to stay in peak condition. For the troops, this means a shift in culture, moving from a low-maintenance all-rounder to a high-precision instrument that demands professional care. And soldiers who have already tested the weapon note that the weight distribution is better, as the G95 is less front-heavy than its predecessor. And this allows the shooter to stay in a stable firing position for longer periods without the barrel wandering due to fatigue. The magazines are also slimmer and more modern, allowing for smoother reloads while maintaining the standard 30-round capacity of the 5.56 x 45mm NATO caliber. With the G95, the Bundeswehr is finally closing the chapter on a decade of debates and political scandals surrounding infantry equipment. It's a clear signal of modernization, showing that the German military is prioritizing quality and international compatibility in its core equipment. The transition from the G36 to the G95 will be a long journey for the individual battalions, involving thousands of hours of training and adjustment. I remember when we changed from the P1 to the P8, it ended that as a very young soldier, I did train old staff sergeants and everyone, because I was trained on the P8, they were only trained on the P1, and it took some time. But once the rollout is complete, the German infantry will be carrying what is arguably one of the most capable and reliable assault rifles in the world. And we will continue to watch as more units receive their new rifles and the first field reports from international exercises start to come in. The G95 is more than just a replacement. It is the symbol of a force that is relearning how to fight in a changing world. So thank you for joining us today on Outside Views Military for this technical breakdown. And if you're interested in seeing how the G95 compares to the French HK416F or the US Marine Corps M27, let me know in the comments. And there is a lot more to cover as the Zeitenwende continues to reshape the equipment of the Bundeswehr. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the vehicles and weapons of the modern soldier. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and I'll see you in the next one.